to the 263rd Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gathering. Generally, we make our best decisions when we have access to the relevant truth. In an ideal world, sharing public interest truth would be seen as beneficial to everyone. But seeing the way whistleblowers and truthful journalists are treated in our society, it is evident we don't live in an ideal world. Our governance largely occurs through corrupt governments, corrupt media, and corrupt justice. These corrupted organs of control work together to create an illusion of democracy, justice, and freedom. But all the time, they serve the interests of the most powerful people on earth. These are the insanely rich and powerful who have a high degree of control over our systems of governance and can be collectively referred to as the parasite class. Our systems of governance work to prevent us from having the knowledge necessary for making decisions conducive to better outcomes for the public. This did not come about by accident. This has come about so that the parasite class can maintain its undemocratic power and control. A public empowered by truth would make the undemocratic control that the parasite class has over our systems of governance impossible. It is therefore unsurprising that our corrupt systems of governance work to malign and persecute whistleblowers and exceptionally truthful journalists like Julian Assange. It is apparent that the ultimate goal of the parasite class is complete control over all humanity. This is not new, but technological advancements mean there are new possibilities for achieving the goal of total control. The parasite class wants willing slaves who are prepared to selflessly work for the good of the parasite class. The introduction of biometric surveillance, digital IDs, and a central bank digital currency will potentially make it impossible for anyone to have anything that could remotely be called freedom or autonomy. The hacking of our minds and biology could potentially make us more able and willing to work under the most miserable of conditions. We can and we must work to empower ourselves, because the parasite class is quite prepared to use its power to build a totalitarian society. In a world where many are highly influenced by the mainstream propaganda, it is urgent that we improve our abilities to unbiasedly communicate the truth so that everyone becomes able to develop a healthy distrust of the systems that are being constructed to more tightly control us. It is important that we wake people up to injustice perpetrated against whistleblowers and other decent people. We all need to involve ourselves in determining how we are governed. Our free speech is vital. People believing in the power of courageously speaking truthfully makes the world a better place. But we need more people courageously speaking the truth. The more people courageously speaking the truth, the easier it is for others to do the same. We must stand together for truth. We must stand together in support of courageous whistleblowers and others that are subjected to injustice. Courage is contagious. The Assange movement continues. Free, free, free the truth. Free, free, free the truth. Free, free, free the truth. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is my story, and the title of this speech is called A Journey of Survival and Hope. I was born into the world of unimaginable suffering under the Pol Pot regime in Cambodia, a regime that took my mother's life. As a child, I witnessed the atrocities of tyranny and endured the fear and grief that no child should ever experience. After narrowly escaping to Vietnam, my family and I realized that there was no future there either. We fled once more, boarding a small fishing boat with nothing but hope and faith, risking our lives on the open sea in pursuit of freedom. That journey led me to Australia, a land I believed to be a beacon of hope, a sanctuary where I could rebuild a life torn apart by war and oppression. For many years, Australia fulfilled that promise. I arrived at the age of 12, unable to speak a word of English, but I was determined to succeed. I worked tirelessly in my family's sewing business after school, often late into the night while learning the language and excelling academically. Through hard work and perseverance, I graduated high school near the top of my class and went on to study medicine at the University of Sydney, a privilege I cherished deeply. Becoming a doctor allowed me to serve others, to give back to a country that had given me so much, and to honor my mother's memory. For nearly 30 years, I dedicate my life to my patients, striving always to act with compassion, integrity, and unwavering commitment to their well-being. But today I stand here not as a celebrated doctor, but as someone persecuted by the system that I have served for decades. My crime? Fulfilling my oath to first do no harm and providing my patients with care they needed during the COVID-19 pandemic. When the pandemic struck, like many of you, I felt the immense weight of responsibility. I read the research, observed global developments, and sought the best possible treatments to save lives. Before its restriction in Australia, I prescribed ivermectin, a safe, well-known medication I had used for more than a decade in Cambodia. The patients whom I treated were fully informed, consented to this treatment, and they recovered. But in September 2021, everything changed when 2 complaints were lodged against me on the same day. One from Westmead Toxicology Department with no consent from the patient, and the other from the peculiar John Smith, whose identity remains undisclosed and whose whereabouts is untraceable. These complaints appear suspiciously coordinated. They were used by the Medical Council to declare emergency and suspend my license indefinitely. Let me be clear, there was no emergency. There was no harm caused, yet I was stripped of my ability to practice medicine, my reputation tarnished, and my livelihood destroyed. The laws meant to protect doctors and patients have been weaponized against me. Health regulators declared me a danger to the public without evidence, and my indefinite suspension has now stretched to its 3rd year. The Healthcare Complaints Commission is seeking to extend this punishment by another 3 to 5 years, effectively ending my career as a doctor. What makes this more devastating is the refusal of my medical insurer to support me in court. This left me no choice but to drain my savings. Over $200,000 spent on legal fees to defend myself. This system was designed to force me into retirement, to silence me, and to erase my contribution as a doctor who dared to act in her patient's best interest. As I reflect on my journey, I am struck by a chilling realization. The actions of these regulators, cloaked in bureaucracy and pretense, echoed the tyranny I fled as a child. The Pol Pot regime ruled through fear, lies, and destruction of life. Today, in a land that once represented freedom, I see similar tactics: deceit, cold detachment, and the annihilation of livelihood under the guise of public protection. The Australia I dreamed of as a refugee is slipping away. A place where speaking the truth and standing up for what is right has become dangerous. This isn't about me, it's about the erosion of freedoms for all of us. On Monday, I face a court hearing that could determine my future as a doctor. This is not just my fight. It is every doctor's fight who has been silenced, every patient denied a voice, and every Australian who values freedom, truth, and justice. I did not spend my life overcoming unimaginable hardship to stay silent in the face of injustice. I have survived tyranny before, and I will not let it defeat me now. I ask you to stand with me, not just for my sake, but for the sake of truth, integrity, and the soul of this nation. Let us hold these regulators accountable, demand transparency, and ensure that the values we cherish are not lost to fear and control. Australia, we must awaken. This is not the nation I risk my life to reach. It is a time to reclaim our freedom, expose the lies, and demand accountability from those who would use power to destroy rather than to protect. I thank each of you for your support, your courage, your belief in justice. Together we can ensure that truth prevails, that freedom endures, and no one else suffers the persecution I have endured. Thank you.
This is a public interest announcement. If you can hear this message, you are in the Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall free speech zone. This is where you are welcome to participate in the meaningful discussion of issues that are often the subject of censorship elsewhere. If you have truthful information that is in the public interest to know, you are invited to come to Sydney Town Hall and hand out flyers, speak through the public address, or simply chat with other open-minded people. Experience tells us all that we cannot rely on governments or the mainstream press to truthfully inform us. We all need to be engaged in truthfully informing each other. If ignorance is the enemy, truth is our power. Please take the opportunity to spend some meaningful time here in the Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall free speech zone. Come on, come and join the free speech zone. Thank you.
We are all Assange.